Leo, Gecko, Egg. That's our 3 winners so far this season in 4 rounds. Who will become the 4th different winner this season? Or do we have a repeat winner as well? It was also this race, to no surprise because of Leo Lund's dominance, that the winner went on to win the championship. And in seasons prior in Imola, we've had some surprises. Ding, home driver in Season 9, won the wet, chaotic race there. You also had Season 10, Korsman, his second to last, most recent win of date in RPL. And also in Season 8, in Season 7, Maxwell, TB, Jacob, some of the drivers that were fighting for victories. And most famously, our first race at this circuit, Season 5, Crashgate. What is going to happen tonight at this spectacle in Tier 1 RPL once again? I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, and it is so nice to be back here. I'm glad to even be here anyway, because I almost got hit by a car coming home. Maybe I'll make some jokes about that later. But anyway, for now, let's talk about what happened last week ahead of tonight. Last week's race, Egg made a big move on the inside at exiting 130R to take the victory, and it was his first. He has been waiting so long to take a first career Tier 1 win, and that maiden victory finally came, and it finally came as well at probably one of the best places to get your first career win at an RPL, and it was full of that last weekend. It's also full of that so far this weekend as well. Added on Polo God, he is reserving tonight for Alpine. He's coming off fresh of a victory in Tier 2, his first in F1 cars. He's an F2 winner of the past. Let's see what he could do. Also, congratulations to McLaren Academy driver and McLaren driver in Tier 3. Lyral Fusion, he won as well in Tier 3, so congrats to both of them. But nonetheless, last week, Egg won ahead of Jack, and then third place was originally Skither, but that was taken away in the stewards room. Minako could have got third as well. That was also taken away in the stewards room as well. It was the fake TB getting both McLarens on the podium. McLaren's streak of consistent podiums, straight podiums, continuing itself, and I cannot wait to see what happens throughout this race. It was so chaotic last season to where you just couldn't keep up with the action. Track limit penalties will be a big talking point tonight as well. 3 drivers last season went without track limit penalties. How many of those drivers will keep it within the track limits tonight? Let's go over our championship standings as well. I am running seriously behind. By the way, for those not aware, F2 was canceled and now we have it on a different day. So I think that's awesome. If it's at Sunday 8, I should be able to commentate a race it, but I will let you all know what is happening there. So, our championship standings. Leo ahead of Jack, but only by 4 points, excuse me. Yeah, I'm really messing up my words. That gap is diminishing, though. With Big TB also 14 points behind. Egg 18 points behind, but we'll talk about him. He's got 2 race bans. Gecko 19 back, Florian 19 back, Reese 32 back. That's where things kind of start to dip apart from 6th to 7th. 15 drivers have scored points and 8 constructors have scored points. McLaren, Red Bull, Aston Martin, that's the top 3. 16 points separate them. Mercedes and Ferrari, they are 4th and 5th as well. Alpine scoring their first point, I believe, last week as well. Good job to Georgia Williams getting their first point. Sauber and Haas, the 2 teams left without points. So we went over the championship standings. Now let's go over a few headlines before we go over drivers on loan, reserving, whatever the case may be there. Hunted. He's got a race ban this weekend for all tiers. He was a very naughty boy last week. He did not cooperate with the admin team and the others in F2. Same with Egg. That's why he's got a 2 race ban and also a qualifying ban once he comes back. Egg has been notorious for F2 shenanigans. You see him in the lobby, he's spectating, but we'll be getting Faded Nights as my co-com later on. So Egg might have to leave. He might choose to, he might not, but, of course, he's got that race ban, 2 weeks, and then a qualifying ban. Again, it was this race last season he was also commentating because Saudi Arabia in Season 19 F2, he was messing around there as well. This time he did it with a different driver, and it was Hunted. So both of them fairly punished by the admin team, it's safe to say. Egg also stripped of his admin role as well. Same with Tier 3 coordinator role too. So, let's go over this race last season briefly. Leo Lund at threat of losing the win after having 6 seconds of track limit penalties. Cookie and Jack were fighting him, but you know what happened? The fake TV tried slowing up Jack, and it actually resulted in Cookie being slowed up a bit too. Cookie made a mistake out of the final corner and was denied the victory. Jack Miles also denied the victory. Leo Lund won ahead of Jack. I believe Cookie still maintained P3 in the stewards room. I could be wrong, but Metal scored some big points in this race last season, and I'm sure that Haas would love to do the same thing again this season. They desperately need points. Same with the Sauber team. We've seen some wet racing around the circuit as well. Got to go back to Season 8 in the race, Season 9 in the race, Season 11 last season in qualifying. Had it happen numerous times. Same with Season 9. So, Polo reserving in the Alpine. Gecko in the Red Bull alongside Reese because of the race ban there. Jack Miles, the imposter Jack Miles, is Josh H, by the way, just for clarity. I know people are going to get that messed up. Blonde reserving in the V-Carb. Alex Fox Johnson in the Sauber. Tadpole in Ferrari. Roman Dishme in Haas. And I think there's another Jack Miles. I think there's 3 Jack Miles. So Jack Miles is being impostered upon. I'm going to check who that third Jack Miles is because I don't know who that is on the lineups. That will be confusing. That second Jack Miles is in the, third Jack Miles is in the second V-Carb. That's Luke. Why do they got to do this to me? I know Titan would probably be more annoyed than I am, but Titan missing tonight, unfortunately. Some would say fortunately, but you know, I like to have him here quite a bit. But let's find out what happens throughout qualifying. Give us your predictions here ahead of Q1. And it's raining. It's raining. It's just like last season. Oh boy. Well, who's going to master the wet conditions? So, I just want to make clarity on this ahead of time. Good evening, chat. Florian, Faded, Maddie. Just want to clarify. The Alpine Jack Miles is Josh H. The McLaren Jack Miles is the real Jack Miles. And the V-Carb Jack Miles is Luke Grange. They're trying to give me a hard time. I know they are. But they're also trying to play a bit of fun amongst themselves, which that's fair enough too. I just want to clarify though, because I'm not actually going to call all 3 of them Jack Miles. We're only going to call the actual Jack Miles. And we know which one's actually Jack Miles because of the Xbox logo as well. So, drivers are going to have to readjust themselves because of the rain. If you had a dry setup and plan, you got to mix it up with the wet setup for qualifying. And also for the race itself. Is it a dry race or is it a wet race? I would love to hear what the drivers have to say. Is it dry? Is it wet? Well, we're going to find out very, very quickly. We have cars going on the track in these crazy conditions. I can hear myself 3 times. All right, that's not good. I need to look at what the weather is. No stream is showing me what the weather is. Amazing. All right. Well, if I get info from one of the drivers, that'd be amazing. Reese is live, but I don't see a stream. I can't even find, what do you call it? Yeah. Yeah, I can't find it. He must have stopped streaming for a moment. Let me check driver's chat. Rain for the race, question mark. So we do have 19 drivers in here tonight as well. I think there's just one missing. I think that's the second Sauber. I'm going to check who that was supposed to be. Maxwell. Previous Imola winner. Missing from our grid. I'm wondering the same Invade. I just got confirmation in the driver's chat. There is no rain for the race. Just like last season, we're having a wet qualifying. The fake TB. A driver who I feel like needs his breakout moment in this season. Same with Jack Miles. McLaren yet to win this season under their names. And in general as well. Leo Lund, their most recent winner. No, excuse me. Jack Miles, their most recent winner. Jack did it in Abu Dhabi. Then it was Leo, the race before that. I'm just going to say Leo Lund started off the season in Aston Martin if you were not with us. And since then, the only other winners have been Egg and Gecko, both racing for Red Bull. That means McLaren is left without a victory, and it's been quite a while since that's happened 5 races in a row. But it very well could happen again tonight. Fake TB, Jack Miles, both yet to win this season. And I must say, just considering the cars they're in, that is a bit surprising. But they've both been on the podium. Jack Miles battling for the win in Bahrain. Also in the most recent race as well. TB has been up there, but still, no victory from the McLaren team so far. 58.8 approaching this section, which is so tricky, but probably a bit easier for the drivers in these conditions, I would have to assume. The fake TB, his Imola history. Here it is. 1 win, 1 pole, and 2 podiums to his name. Can he add onto that list tonight? Now becomes the question. The quest for pole starts now. The fake TBR first lap being set 27.7. And we have a Williams crossing next. He's starting a lap. The Mercedes, I believe, is coming to the pit lane. We have Jack Miles out on the track. He's on the wet compound tire compared to the fake TB being on the inter compound tire. We have Leo Lund invalidating a lap time. That's very vital for him. HSR Gecko, winner in Australia. Also broke the big drought he had. He had not won since Season 2, and it's the longest time in between RPL wins from Gecko. He broke the previous record that Owen had, that he did back in Singapore Season 10. Gecko is flirting with a lot of chances for a victory last season, but now, this season, he's actually won a race. Jack Miles going to the top in wet compound tires. We have more crossing next. There's an Aston of Ding still needing a lap in. Cryptic needing a lap in. Cryptic got the lap in. Florian Van Zelter lags out. But HSR Gecko goes to the top of the board. And the wet compound tire seems to be the tire to be on right now. Because the top 3 are all filled with drivers on the wet compound tire. Tadpole gets a nice opportunity in the Ferrari tonight as well. So let's see what he can make of that. Please tell me I have Florian added. Oh, do I not? Thought I did. Huh. Well, right then. AFJ invalidates, I believe that was Josh H. in the Alpine, invalidating. Now on this lap, Polo probably doing the same, I'm pretty sure. Track limits being brutal to some of these drivers, and Blonde has been dinged for track limits there as well. Let's ride on board with Leo Lund, who invalidated the first run. Cryptic and Roman Dishme both have the same lap time. Skither is third. That's the highest of the inter runners. But Leo Lund in the Williams got a third place qualifying in Australia, got their first front row last week, and it's these conditions that's going to help the Williams driver and also the car itself. That was Tadpole clocking in a time 4th fastest, but Leo Lund launching himself into the 3rd sector momentarily. Let's ride on board with him and go silent while we watch what the driver from Sweden does. These conditions are so treacherous for the drivers. Yellow flags. I don't think anybody has spun, but that's somebody probably out of fuel. Oh, Leo Lund with a big moment, rear locking it into the penultimate corner there. There's other drivers crossing. Josh H went 3rd, and Leo Lund is 2nd in Q1. Roman Dishme, it's his first start since Season 10, and he almost collides with an Academy teammate, and he does! Alex Fox Johnson and Roman Dishme clash! Is there a grid penalty being handed out there from the game? There is not, but that's a huge incident between both drivers entering Sector 3. Roman, I think, cut him off, and AFJ was going straight on, but both drivers go off, and Roman is still in the barrier. Unreal stuff between both the Sauber and the Haas, and they're still at it. AFJ is shoving him off track. AFJ once was having some very bad moments late in this race, and it actually had him banned momentarily. I really hope this is not intentional again. I really do not want to see him gone. Look at this again. These two are not happy with each other or just straight up messing around. And Roman Dishmi is shoving him into the pit lane. Very surprised there that the game did not hand out any grid penalties whatsoever. HSR Gecko goes even faster, but that's not going to be the headline. AFJ and Roman, Academy teammates for tonight, both practically dishing it out. Cookie hasn't had a podium in RPL since Silverstone last season. It's a very long drought for this American driver, also the Season 10 champion. It seemed like in that season he thrived in these conditions. Will the same repeat tonight? Let's ride on board with Cookie as he's approaching now the final sector. Florian Van Zelter joins back, and we'll go quiet for Cookie here. And Cookie is invalidated, so he's backing off on that lap. Luke Range also invalidating in the V-Carb as well. JTK currently up on the time. Running no line has been a struggle for this driver in RPL this season, but I must say, maybe this is the place that he can find a points position for the Haas team for their first this season. Remember, JTK in the Ferrari scored points in Bahrain, but he's not been able to back it up since. Ding, home driver, third. Florian Van Zelter, also another home driver in this race. He has not got a lap on our boards yet. JTK sliding through the corner there. He's got one more corner to go. To the line he comes, boosting battery. Almost got none of it left. And JTK moves up to 5th on our charts. Does it look like it's time for the Inter tire? That's something you gotta wonder, but I briefly looked over in the chat, and not a lot of drivers are too happy about the Roman and AFJ collision. That was absolutely unacceptable, and I will not be surprised, although Egg's not an admin anymore, that he saw that and is probably clipping it, whether he's watching the stream or not. But that was extremely unacceptable behavior. RPL, a realistic performance league, it may not be a league like your PSGL or WR, but it does not mean you can sit here and bitch about like that. That's quite unacceptable. Skither on the inners, 24-0. I mean, it became apparent once we got toward the pit lane that these two were not necessarily unintentionally doing that. And they can't really have an excuse for that as well. Cookie, 5th place. Skither going faster. The Inter tire looks like it's cooking itself up some work. Here's Luke Range on the intermediate tire going 5th. I think that was Tadpole clocking in a time down in 7th. So I think some of these drivers will be switching to the intermediate tire very soon. Reese Dainty, AFJ, Polo, Florian, the 4 drivers not having a lap on the board in the bottom 4 spots. Roman back out on track near AFJ this time. We're going to watch these two, but I actually want to watch Roman on a lap here. These first 2 chicanes, extremely tricky, whether it be in the wet or the dry, but more trickier to keep it within track limits. You could very well clip the grass entering one of those corners and go spinning round. So you have to be very, very cautious in those sections at times to avoid that happening. Both the not actual Jack Miles names, Luke Range and Josh H, are ahead of Jack Miles. Someone clip that. Roman Dishmi using some ERS into Sector 3, 9/10 up in the charts. He'll need the time in order to get through into the next round of qualifying. Just straight up unacceptable behavior between him and AFJ. I don't want to put too much attention on it, but there's just no need. There's just no need for it at all. If you want to mess around, RPL is not the place to do so. We've already had drivers banned for that. We've already had drivers severely penalized. Roman Dishmi goes 10th. AFJ does not have a time on the board. I'm wondering if he started a lap this time or just invalidated at the very end there. I think it was the very end he did invalidate. We do have yellow flags. I think that's for the RB moving out of the way. It is. 5 minutes to go. Reese Dainty on a lap. And Florian Fenzelter, home driver, makes it a 1-2. Look at that. Mercedes 1-2. Italian on top. Can it be one of their own, winning the race once again, just like back in Season 9? Reese Dainty crossing now. What's it going to be from the Red Bull driver? He needs a good run tonight, and he's already top of the board. Those intermediate tires are really cooking with these drivers right now. You've got to wonder, is it time for the Inters here at the end of Q1? AFJ, not on a lap, but still right behind the Haas driver once again. I really hope we don't see the same thing happen again. But I'm wondering, as he does invalidate, is he going for another run now, or is he going to go back to the pit lane and go for the intermediate tires? The fake TB went third fastest. Look at this. 2 Academy teammates once again going at it. Luckily, no contact as of right now, but, you know, these two, I really hope we can keep it clean. Roman Dishmi coming back to the pits. They were both very fast in the pit lane there. Ding. He's on the lap. And he had his most recent win at the circuit 66 races ago, I believe. Yes. Season 9 Imola. It's not, his most recent pole doesn't come here, but he would love to add another victory to his name tonight. 68 milliseconds up on our charts. He's one of 6 drivers on a lap right now. Let's run on board with the Italian driver. There's 2 of them tonight, and they would love to end up getting a victory. And Ding is backed off there. Leo Lund, I believe, just crossed. He is 6th fastest. I'm not sure if he started one or ended one. The fake TB on a lap, and he is up by 2/10. We see nearly every single driver in this session out there on the intermediate tire. But Leo Lund has been caught out here because he is not on the inter tire. If he is not on the right tire at the right time, he very well could be in that bottom 4 and out of the Q1 session. The fake TB, big moment. Ooh. He keeps it going, but still could cost him 3/10 up. He could go still to the fastest on our boards, but he had a huge moment, huge save. Glad he gathered that back up. Blonde, 6th fastest. He's got a lap in now, so that puts Cryptic in the bottom 4. Cryptic, we spoke about him in the Fun Facts channel, being super consistent and under the radar. Florian Fenzelter extends the fastest time. The fake TB goes 2nd. Laps improving here at the end of the session, and it desperately needs to happen from some. Polo, yesterday's winner, 10th fastest. Jack Miles now needs a lap. This is really gonna be a very interesting end of Q1. JTK goes 4th. The track is evolving like mad. Who's gonna get the lap time in? Who's gonna miss out and validate? Jack Miles, the next one, deploying the battery. What's it gonna be across the line? Jack Miles is 4th. Roman into the bottom 4 now. Red Fire, he invalidated. That was someone leapfrogging their way up to the front of the field. I believe that might have been Cryptic? Yes, it is. Tadpole's in the bottom 5 now. It's bottom 4, excuse me. Cookie crossing now. Luke Grange trying to start one. Roman trying to start one. Ding goes 3rd. Who's going to find the time and who's going to be knocked out here? AFJ, Roman, Red Fire, Tadpole, all out on track, all on laps right now. Crucially needing it. Who do we have crossing next? I believe that's a Williams. Leo Lund is going to be severely impacted here on the wet tire, and he seriously could be at risk of being out in Q1. This could be developing stuff, folks. Keep your eye on Leo Lund here while we watch the drivers cross for laps. The fake TB starting his final run. We have more coming. Red Fire needs a lap. AFJ needs a lap. That's Josh H going 5th. I can't even keep track of who to watch. Polo is on an in-lap, maybe. Luke Range in 14th, invalidates. Seriously troubling stuff there. Skither, second fastest. Cookie needs a lap. We're going to watch our bottom 5 drivers. 1 in the bubble, 4 being eliminated. Reese Dainty thinks he's safe, reasonably so. That's an Aston crossing Cryptic on another lap. The Ferrari of Tadpole jumping up to 10th. That puts Luke Range in the bubble. Remember, he invalidated. Cookie now needs a lap, and he will get the lap in. Cookie, 7th fastest. Luke Range has been knocked out of qualifying. Checkered flag is out. AFJ. It was this race that he got into Q3, Season 9. He is now in a Q2 in Season 12. Roman is out. Polo knocked in that bottom 5, not improving. Luke Range is out. Red Fire needs a lap desperately. What's it going to be from the Frenchman? He is out as well. Polo, it's up to him now to dispatch Cryptic, and Cryptic's improving as well. Leo Lund might just be safe, and he will be. Can you believe it? Leo Lund at risk of being eliminated, and he finds a way to get through. We have more crossing. The fake TB now going fastest, 22.9. Gecko, 3rd, 17 milliseconds separating the top drivers, and Leo Lund is 7th. Josh H is off, trying to get out of the way. Cookie invalidates coming back. Skither goes 2nd, 17 milliseconds now separating the top 4 drivers. There's more movement further back, but Polo misses out. He is out. So none of the drivers in the top 15 have to worry anymore about being eliminated. They are all safe and good to go. Tadpole improving, Cryptic improving. There was more as well improving. I think Jack Miles did. Here's your bottom 5 out of qualifying, folks, in the first round of this. Polo, out. Red Fire, out. Roman, out. Luke Range, out. Luke Range, the slowest of them all, the previous 3-time Tier 1 champion. Could have won this race back in Season 5, but Crashgate prevented that. An Alpine, a Williams, a Haas, and a V-Carb out. I think the V-Carb and Alpine become the big surprise from this whole thing, but Sauber find a way through with AFJ. Four drivers out, and the top 4 split by only 17 thousandths. Incredible to end Q1. Here it is, folks. The fake TB ahead of Skither and Florian. 2 champions on top in Q1. Gecko and Jack ran out the top 5. A Williams in 8th. A Haas in 11th. A Sauber nicking his way through. In that bottom 4 eliminated, the Irishman, the Frenchman, the Englishman, and Roman Dishme. Polo, Red Fire, Roman, and Luke out of qualifying. Polo, yesterday's winner, out of it. Red Fire. It was this race in Tier 2 that it all kind of came dashing down for him in that championship race. He's out of it as well. Still reigning in Q2 to no surprise. Give us your predictions, folks, for what's going to happen. But crazy stuff in RPL F1. So we have cars going out, folks. I just want to remind folks of what the schedule is up until about halfway. We have Spain next week, Silverstone, Hungary, Spa, and then Zandvoort. Some of those tracks is the earliest they've ever been on an RPL calendar, so I must say, good stuff there. 2 things to look out for in this session, folks. Although we have a Haas out, it's been 71 races since their last double Q3 appearance. They're only going to get 1 car into this next round if they can do it, but it'd be the first time in, I believe, about 6 races. It's been quite a bit. It's been since Qatar last season. 12 races since Sauber's last Q3. AFJ's trying to do it for the team, but I'm sure he'll be investigated after for his shenanigans with Roman. 12 races. You want to know the last one to do it? T.S. Korsman. He was also the last one to do it for Haas as well. No rain for the race, by the way, but I must say, we're going to have quite the qualifying session here. We have drivers starting laps, and Leo Lund is our first one. He is crossing. Let's take you on board with a lap of Imola. That's technically turn 1. Here is turn 2. Let me pull up the track layout on my PC, but meanwhile, he's got a driver in front of him. I don't think in these conditions you're getting slipstream, but you could be being blocked. That's the problem. That driver that he was near is getting out of the way. That was an Aston Martin. Now, the last few sequence of corners in the sector. Leo Lund has a snap on the car. He gathers it back up. But look at him trying to turn the steering wheel. So tight there in that section. You go to the hairpin. Now, you go to the dip right and then the left-hand corner here. That's Pinarella. Here's Aqua Minerale. 10, 11, then 12 and 13. This is technically a chicane, but Leo Lund trying to master it all. The championship leader having almost another big moment there. Down to turn 14 and 15. Another chicane for Leo Lund to navigate, and he invalidates. That's going to be costly for him. That Mercedes behind is Skither, our season 6 and 7 champion on a lap now. Let's ride on board with him as he goes through what's going to be turn 16 here. Then you get to 17 and 18, and then 19 is the last corner. Technically not a corner, but it is the corner listed here on our circuit. Right about what's going to be now. Just a dip right. You can't easily invalidate trying to go too far right. I've had it happen. Doesn't happen to Skither. 23-3. We have more crossing. Florian clocks in a time right behind his teammate. Those two keeping it extremely close. AFJ, TB. Jack starting a lap. I think he backed off on this one. Cookie putting it 4th fastest. He got a pole to season finale in Abu Dhabi. Also had a chance to win this race from pole back in season 10, but the controller disconnecting for him ultimately cost him. And he tried to exit the session and rejoin, and the game kicked him out, and the car retired itself. Tadpole invalidates there. He went out of bounds. Ding on a lap. Home driver, as we mentioned prior to today. Blonde in the RB on a lap. JTK on a lap. Leo Lund back out there, but he invalidated. Remember that. Ding, we're going to watch him through Pinarella. I think Pinarella is a lot easier to keep it on the track limits when you head into that section, and even this section in the wet compared to the dry. But still, we're having tons of drivers go over track limits and invalidate. That could definitely be the difference between getting in and being out. I know I said Luke Grange in the V-car was a big surprise, but you see why he's tier 2 pace now this game? You also see that the mistakes are extremely costly if you don't know it well enough. Track limits nabbed him, and he was out in Q1. You can watch his stream at Luke Grange 74 on Twitch. No spaces. Skither going fastest. Cryptic clocking in a time. Jack Miles doing the same, but his is not representative. Things will be, though. 2nd fastest. Look at that. We have quite the session upon us, and this is still only Q2, folks. Tadpole on a lap now. Josh H on a lap. Blonde invalidating. JTK on a lap. He's got 2 more braking zones to go through, but he actually backed off. Leo Lund back out there. He is navigating this sequence of corners, the last few of Sector 2. Sector 3 approaching his way now. Another chicane. Very easy to try and push, but you can also invalidate so easily there as well. Overtake button on use. Look at him. Just burning that battery. Entering the final few braking zones. Look at this. 1 more corner to go. Josh H clocking in a time 3rd. Leo Lund going 2nd. 7 milliseconds separate 1 and 2. And it's 2 champions in Tier 1. Also 3 if you include Ding up there in the top 3. All Merc Academy cars. Reese Dainty starting a lap, and I would love to welcome now Faded Knights to the qualifying session, as well as the commentary booth.
How you doing, guys? Welcome here to Imola.
Florian fastest now.
It's great to have me. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, thank you. I believe it was you who joined. Yes, it was. I see F2 has changed times, by the way, as well, for those not aware. But Florian, is he in the way there of Tadpole? Or is that Cookie? That's luckily Cookie. Tadpole needing a lap desperately. He is currently 11th, the first driver out of qualifying. Jack Miles improved to 5th. And Tadpole not the only one out there. AFJ and JTK join him now as well. That was Blonde going 9th, I believe. Tadpole, 2 more corners to go through. These conditions, you just tiptoe through, whether you mean to or not. And we're going to see that quite a bit throughout qualifying. Remember, it's a dry race. Tadpole crossing now. What is it for the Ferrari man tonight? 5th place for him. Reese and Gecko need a lap. They're going to cross now.
Yeah, definitely not a bad lap there from Tadpole. He was 4.5 seconds up in the second sector. He slots in 7/10 behind Florian Fenzelter as Reese Dainty goes second. 3/10 behind Florian. Very good lap from him.
I must say, Johnny, the racing we're going to see with this close field tonight is going to be very interesting. 7 milliseconds separating both Mercedes drivers. They're keeping it close. Leo Lund could have been eliminated in Q1 if you were not here with us. But the interesting thing for him is that these conditions help his car. And, you know, as they always say, you know, the great equalizer. But right now, he's not equalizing everything he can out of it. Validating lap time right there. Final corner of Sector 1. TB going 3rd.
Yeah, that's definitely where drivers are going to be caught out, is that curb right there. I've had incidences where I've invalidated the entire lap, and I was like 1 or 2 tenths up going into that, and yeah, it just hurts.
Gecko, our Australia winner, is on a lap, and I must say, it's good to see him back in a top car. He seems to be doing a lot more with it now compared to what he did last season in Ferrari. Last season in Ferrari, we saw flashes of brilliance from him, but he never really maximized it, Johnny. I'm glad to see that he can actually end up winning a race this season and also getting on pole like he did in Australia as well. Pole to win, his second in RPL that was.
Honestly, yeah, Australia was almost like a resurgence for Gecko in terms of what he can do this season. And, I mean, he's making it look good this lap. Seems like he is putting in sector times that could be up there with the front runners, hopefully near his teammate Reese Dainty. We shall see as he comes to the penultimate corners. Oh, he
Paulo
invalidated.
was mentioning, and oh, that's not good. Oh, well, he'll need a lap quite quick then, and I think he might be doing one now. No, he's not. He's not going to even turn on the battery, so no lap right now from Gecko. He's going to try and go for it again later. Cookie in that bottom 5, Blonde down there. I was just going to say, Johnny, Polo mentioning that his lap felt very nice. Oh, Cookie ran out of bounds. He invalidates as well. Oh, no. I was just going to say with Polo as I keep being interrupted by drivers invalidating. He said the lap felt nice, but still was out of qualifying there in Q1. The first guy out. So that's exactly what could happen around here. But the Alpine driver making his first Tier 1 appearance in quite some time. Not able to get through into Q2. Leo Lund is on a flyer. He's crossing now. Battery on use. He's looking to go fastest, and he does just that. 2 tenths. The gap is right there.
What a lap.
Jack Miles starting one. I was just going to say, Egg mentioning the Cookie, sort your Wi-Fi out. There's some interesting things developing there. Maybe Cookie's Wi-Fi is bad, but we haven't noticed anything on our end at least. Just to clarify, there are 3 Jack Miles racing. The one that's on Xbox is the real one, Faded. He's improving. The one that's in the Alpine is Josh H. And the one that's in the V-Carb is Luke Grange. So we have some imposters among us tonight.
Like the pun that you did there.
Well, it's true. It is very true. Jack Miles heading into turn 11,
Whoa.
12, 13, and invalidating. A lot of drivers getting their lap times deleted. Really, you could say in any section, but mainly that section has been notorious for it tonight so far.
Exactly. And, I mean, Jack was using all of the track trying to gain as much time as he could. When he used too much of it, that's what happens.
So, JTK backing off there on that lap. He's in the bottom 5. He needs a lap desperately. So does Blonde in the V-Carb, making a Tier 1 appearance once again. A 2-time podium sitter. Also the Tier 2 champion of the past. Same with JTK. Cookie in that bottom 5, improving right now in the Ferrari. His last pole, Abu Dhabi last season. He's had some front rows quite a bit since then. AFJ in there as well in the Sauber. Gecko still without a lap as well. He'll get to the line in time to get one. We're going to watch him before Cookie. He needs it more than him. Will Gecko dispatch Josh H in that top 10 and get in? He will. 4th fastest. Cookie trying to do the same. Cookie crossing now. Only 3/10 up and only going 10th. So he's right in the bubble. That puts Cryptic down in the relegation zone. And I do have to note, Cookie is actually lagging on my end now.
Yeah, he is. A lot of lag spikes. Oh, big one there. Teleported to that corner. Oh, man.
We have Josh H on the lap. I'm going to quickly go AFK. I'll let you take this over, Johnny.
Alrighty, so Josh H. Coming to the penultimate set of corners now. He's looking pretty good. Hopefully can dispatch Cookie from that drop zone. Josh to the line. It is 8th fastest. 1:28.87. Very good lap from him. It drops Cookie to 11th. Trying to see who else may be starting a lap. Florian is a 10th up. Leo going on his out lap. He will have time. Skither is sliding.
Well, you do want to slide a little bit in these conditions, but not as much as he did, because it actually goes through his car how much he slid there. Oh, big moment again still. He's trying to gather back up. Maybe just giving us a show. The Aston crossing, that is either Ding or Cryptic. I think that's Ding. It is Ding. Still lots of drivers in that relegation zone needing laps. I see Cookie down there now, but he is about to start one as he invalidated there.
Florian purple
I think the interesting thing we have to note, Johnny. What happened?
Florian purple sector 2.
Watch that. 43 seconds to go. I was just going to say, the interesting thing here, the corner Florian's going through now, you can easily invalidate this and next lap in that section. Something to just be aware of. Cookie is out.
Oh, no.
Cookie is out. Florian is fastest. Cookie, for the first time since Season 9, is out in Q2.
That is
He had his
shocking.
worst qualifying last week in Japan since Season 9, and now makes it even worse this week. Cryptic, JTK, Blonde, AFJ, those drivers now desperately need laps. JTK is out of qualifying. He aborts it and goes to the pits. We may be seeing 3 different Ferrari Academy cars out in this session. There's a McLaren currently out on the track trying to improve, but I think he's gone back to the pit lane. Checkered flag is out. Who's going to improve? Who's not going to improve? AFJ, next one to cross. That needs it. Reese Dainty goes 3rd. The fake TB going fastest now. Less than a 10th between the top 3. There's another Red Bull crossing. There's AFJ first, though.
Oh.
Ahead of Blonde. That Red Bull was Blonde that I was mentioning. Cryptic needs a lap. He could dispatch Tadpole.
Half a second
Cryptic
up.
crossing now. And he will. He's running the bubble. It's either Tadpole or Cryptic in the next round of qualifying, but Cookie is just plummeting down our order. Down to 12th now.
Yeah, Tadpole coming across the line as Skither goes fastest first in the 21s, Ryan.
Wow.
Oh!
Tadpole did not do it, but he did improve in the time. Cryptic just getting through by the skin of his teeth, the Q3. Both Ferraris are out in qualifying at their home race. No Ferrari through, no V-Carb through in Italy. The Italian teams are not through, but the 2 Italian drivers are. Ding and Florian, 3rd and 7th, having a chance for pole here in Q3. Both already have poles now in RPL after Florian Fenzelter last week got his first. That bottom 5 is made up of these 5 drivers. Cookie, Tadpole, JTK, AFJ, and Blonde. 4 Ferrari Academy drivers, 1 of the V-Carbs.
Yeah, there's got to be some talks at the Ferrari Academy as to what exactly happened there.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that is abysmal.
You don't see that every day. Not a single Ferrari Academy car into Q3. That is unheard of here in RPL, but it has happened before, actually. But just very rarely. Both Astons through, both Mercedes through, a Williams through. That's 5 Merc Academy drivers into Q3. We have 2 Red Bulls in there. We have 3 Alpine/McLaren Academy cars in there. So that's what Q3 is made up of. Skither, TB, Flory in the top 3. Nice to see a Williams up there, but the bottom 5, out of it. Tadpole, Cookie, JTK, AFJ, Blonde, all eliminated there in qualifying. Cookie, the season 10 pole sitter of this race, out again.
Yeah, and the Ferrari Academy basically saying that they're blaming the car for that. Well,
Oh my word.
the car is being driven by the driver, so it's driver error.
I know that car's a handful, but you gotta think the wet's the great equalizer. And the wet, maybe not in this game, but in general, does bring out the best of the drivers. Cookie and Tadpole cannot maximize their laps. Whatever they have to say about it, the end of the story is that they're out in Q2. And we're on to Q3. Time for some predictions. I have JTKF1 fan I see in chat, Polo, Maddie, Invade, Dom, Florian was in there. You were in there as well. I'm in the chat. How about us two will give our predictions in the chat while we ask you guys as well to give yours too. And we'll read it off by the end of Q3, what we think that top 3 will be. We're not going to predict pole time. You can't really do so in these conditions. But who do you think, in order, will make up the top 3? That's what we're going to ask you right now. Leo Lund out on track. All right. Gecko out on track. Josh H out on track. Williams have never had a pole, but can Leo Lund do it tonight, the championship leader?
He definitely could. He's been showing a lot of hope in that Williams car, and he is in the Velocity Academy for a reason. Definitely would not be in that without showing some true grit, and he did that in Q2.
I'm actually going to go a little bit further and submit my top 5.
Oh.
Jack Miles is very good in these conditions. That's why I think he'll beat TB. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the session. But I don't have a single Red Bull in that top 5.
Really?
Yep.
Just wild to see. No, I had both Mercedes in the top 5, including
Interesting.
Leo Lund.
So, I was just going to say, I'll have you cover this lap, and I'll tell you why. Well, I've covered a few already, but this was your track that you scored your first points in RPL, and if I'm correct, this was your debut. So how about you take it away with Leo Lund going through turn 4 onwards.
Alrighty, so Leo Lund going through the gears now. He's up into 7th. He's going to flick it around here very nicely. Going to get back on the booster. So he drops a 3rd. Purple sector for Leo Lund. He's the first to go through that detection point using the boost. He's going to hold it in 7th gear, flick it nicely around there. Slide in the rears a little bit, but you know you have to do that pretty much in the rain. He's going to drop it to 4th. Stick on the curbs nicely, has not invalidated, so good so far. 54.7 as we go through sector 1 and 2. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that's a combined time. Still using the boost, making sure he has enough battery to get to the line. Feel a little, whoa. Use the boost all the way to the line. Leo Lund, 21.8. Remember, it was a 21.9 that Skithers, I believe, set in Q2. 10th faster for Leo Lund. Are the conditions getting better?
We'll find out. Gecko 2nd fastest. More to come. Josh H going 3rd. We have Reese Dainty invalidating a lap time. So that's the first of the drivers. heading back to the pits because of a track limit deletion. Cryptic third. Jack now third. What will the Mercedes do? Skither only fourth. There's Ding on a lap now. I think he just started one. Florian about to cross, but he invalidates as well. Track limits being very vital to the drivers. TB as well. Wow. So, some drivers at their home races, previous Imola winners, previous champions, all caught up from that.
Wild.
Leo Lund, though, is fastest and could potentially be on pole for the first time in a Williams. Williams have never started higher than second. Could tonight be the night?
Tonight definitely could. Some drivers could definitely spoil that. Florian Fetzelter, who's purple in the first sector, 26.3.
Ding on a lap. We're watching him right now. Previous Imola winner back in season 9 and home driver for tonight. We also have Florian out on track, another home driver, looking to do wonders for their country. They would love to win the race, and they both would be doing something very historical. Ding winning for the first time in 65 races, Florian a first Tier 1 win. Both of them desperately need it, especially to boost their confidence and their season. Ding keeps it within the track limits. That's shocking to some. Skither second fastest. Ding goes fourth. What's Florian going to do? Can Florian be on pole in back-to-back weeks? It would be provisional pole, using battery to cross the line with 6.5 minutes to go. Fastest.
Oh,
Florian
yeah.
does it at his home race, provisional pole.
3 men in the 1T1s, Ryan. Florian, Leo, Skither. In that order, I predicted
All of them. Yeah, all of them in the Mercedes Academy as well. Josh H on a lap, having a little tank slapper in turn 9. Now, you go to 10, 11, 12. This section gets tricky for the driver. He's on medium ERS, but almost went out of bounds. So tough to keep it on the track limits here, whether it's the wet or the dry, but you gotta think in the wet it's a bit easier. The fact that so many people are invalidating shows you how broken the track limits are around this circuit. Now, improving only a bit more in the second sector. As you said earlier, Johnny, that's the combined time. So he's 2/10 up still on the lap, Josh H is. 14%, barely any ERS left in the tank for the two-time winner here in RPL F1. It'd be his first in Season 9 if he does so tonight, but crossing now, he's only upping himself up to 7th. Gecko to 3rd. He splits the Merc Academy drivers.
Yeah, Josh, using that much battery going into the line as compared to Leo having about 17. Josh had 5%. So he's got to kind of learn from these guys on how much battery he should be saving throughout the lap and how much he has to burn to the line.
But you've also got to wonder as well, with Leo Lund going second, what can these guys maximize? Reese Dainty, one of the drivers not to have a lap on our boards. He invalidated earlier, the Season 9 champion. Same with the Season 8 champion, TB. Both of them now on flyers. Reese, 54% in the battery. Yeah, I mean, in these conditions, you save ERS quite a bit more. So to be able to have barely any left in the tank when crossing the line, that is a bit shocking and not usual. Reese on a lap right now, using battery, exiting the last corner of Sector 2. 54.5 for the driver from the United Kingdom, the Season 9 champion. And he would love to add a race win to his name tonight. It was round 5 last season in Miami that he got his last RPL F1 win. It'd be breaking a 20-race drought.
Yeah, and he was...
slide for Reese.
He was purple in Sector 1. He was pretty good in Sector 2. But look at the turn! Reese Dainty to the line! 21.8. Now
Both Red Bulls up there.
I reckon if he didn't slide, it would have been much better.
Like I mentioned in the races yesterday in Tier 2, and even briefly about Tier 3. When the Tier 3 race was in rain, the Tier 2 race was in rain, and this qualifying is in the rain. Something I did mention about that, you can slide, but you can't have it happen too much. The fake TB, 3rd fastest. Less than a 10th separating the top 3 now. And also 4 different constructors up there representing their teams as well. 3 different academies.
That is incredible to see.
Scintillating. Yellow flags on the track. It's for the Merc getting out of the way. It's Skither. Nobody right now on a lap. TB invalidating his in-lap. Reese not on another one, obviously. He's recharging that battery. Cookie's lagged out.
Alright. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go take a whiz.
All right. Get yourself prepared for the end of Q3. Let us know, folks, what you think will happen. We have some drivers trying to break some droughts and others not needing that to happen. The reason why we speak about these droughts being broken, Gecko did so last time in Australia. Egg broke technically a drought of his in Japan last week. You know, the thing is, we're looking at Polo doing so yesterday as well. Quite a few droughts being broken here in RPL, but right now we're starting the final flying laps of Q3. Race Dainty we're riding on board with, and there are some races in the wet. He has had some magical moments, but it's more so the qualifying sessions that you flash back to. Down a 10th, the bit shocking there. I'm wondering, are the conditions getting worse, or is Race Dainty just getting worse on running good laps right now in this session? He desperately needs it. Josh H. weaving in the background, almost crashing.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, both the things are happening for Reese. Seems like on my screen the rain is getting more torrential, but what do I know?
Right? I hear ya. Anyway, still down in the second sector, but he found time. We're going to see if this is enough for Reese. Either way, this will be his last lap in qualifying. Reese, he has had poles in the past quite a bit. You have to go all the way back to Season 9, Las Vegas for his last. He's been on pole 11 times in RPL. Will it be a 12th? Reese crossing only for 4th, but the top 4 is still separated by under a 10th. It's close out there. Ding invalidated. He's going for another one. We have Josh H. now on a lap as well. Who's that behind? That's a Merc car. That's Skither. Not finding time, but going for another one now. We have another driver. That's the McLaren of TB, who doesn't find the time, so he backed off and saved himself to go for now. The Merc of Florian on a lap. The Aston now. That is Cryptic. He needs a lap, but he invalidated. We have Jack Miles, the Wet Master, they call him sometimes. 7th fastest. Not today, the case for him. Very uncharacteristic for Jack to be down that far. The Red Bull crossing, Gecko starts 1, and Leo starts 1. So our first car crossing will be Ding, and he's only up by less than 2/10. The top 8 drivers separated by less than 7/10, but still less than a minute remaining.
I also want to mention Ryan Josh, Purple Sector 1.
That could be super crucial. You gotta wonder, is that legitimate Sector 1 there with it being purple? Purple for Ding there as well. 3/10 up for him. Checkered flag is out here in qualifying. Ding's last pole comes from the Season 9 finale in Abu Dhabi. Will it be another one for the home driver? One more corner to go. Crossing now. What's it going to be for the Italian that is home race? Ding crossing, and Ding only 5th, but so close. Josh H is 8th. The Merc is next. That's Skither going pole again. Gonna be a record-breaking 25th. You gotta wonder, it's a race against time now. Florian invalidates. TB invalidates. There's still more to go. Cryptic invalidating as well. Jack, he's on a cooldown lap, so it's up to Gecko, who invalidates. Reese now, who's done. Leo Lund, only him to go. Will it be Skither equaling the all-time record of 25 poles, or will it be Leo Lund for Williams for the first time? Leo Lund crossing, and Williams again are on the front row. It's the second time that's happened, but Skither and Luke Grange, 25 poles. He's now equaled the most, and Skither and the Mercedes back-to-back weeks delivering pole position. After not having a singular pole since Season 9, they have done it. Florian, home driver, teammate, 3rd. The Merc Academy represented in the top 3 places. What an ending to qualifying. Skither with his 25th and 1st since the end of Season 10, breaking a 25-plus race drought. Look at that session.
That is incredible. Top 5 separated by 3/10. actually include the top 7. Wow.
Holy cow.
If only I predicted having the Mercedes swapped together for Florian.
There's your results, folks. Cookie will need to invite back, so I hope you can get
Go
him in
on,
here
Beck.
quickly. Alrighty. Leo, Florian, TV, Reese running at the top 5. I had some of those guys right, but I'm very surprised by the way it ended from some. Jack Miles back there, no McLaren in the top 5 as well. Excuse me, Reese was, or not Reese, TB was 4th. There was a McLaren in the top 5, but I thought he was not the one there. It was Gecko who was outside the top 5 that I was surprised about that I meant to mention, not TB. My apologies. All right, Faded. We went over the championship standings beforehand. We don't need to do so again, but I do want to know, what are you expecting here for the start of the race? It's a completely dry race, though, and we're expecting the one stop.
Well, I'm expecting the Mercedes to absolutely dominate the first part of the race. But then as you get into that second stage, I feel like the Ferraris and Red Bulls might just be there, as well as the McLarens. But, I mean, come on, who is stopping that Mercedes pair of Florian together today? I don't see it.
15 seconds, what do you see on the start happening?
You know, you could see some go off in the back. But, I hope it's all smooth sailing up at the
5
front.
seconds. It's time to go for round 5 of the season in Imola. We have 2 Italian drivers, but also 2 Italian constructors. Will one of them win, or will someone else do it? The 5 red lights out of the drivers, and it's time to bring the action. Skither off the line, a little wheel spin. Leo Lund prevails to the lead. Leo Lund and the Williams off the start, got the better traction, and launches ahead of Skither. 3 wide in the midfield. Look at it, it's almost 4 wide for the lead. Skither back up the inside. Contact with him and Leo. Both champions almost clash. Look at Florian racing now with TB for 3rd. Side-by-side action there. Side-by-side for 6th. They're all jockeying around for position, and we have trouble almost. The Alpine slid around, but somehow kept it straight. Both Ferraris there battling each other, and it looks to be Blonde and AFJ going at it. Both Jacks going at it. One of them is actually Josh H. The other is actually Jack.
How did they all get through turn 1? That is insane!
We have the positions gained and positions lost. Not many there, but here's AFJ racing it out with Polo and Red Fire, who are further behind him. AFJ now in the back of Blonde, and up in front of that, Gecko on the back of Ding. Almost 3 wide into the corner. Gecko for a huge send. Couldn't pull it off and is off the road. Reese gets him now. Reese, who lost his spot in the start, now only losing just 1 instead of 2. Cryptic up to Leo Lund to the lead. Holy cow.
What a dream start for Leo Lund. He said, listen, I want to lead my academy teammates. Doing it pretty much
Here we
on
go for
his own.
2nd. Florian taking that place there over teammate Skither. Reese gets ahead of Ding. Home driver there. Jack ahead of Cryptic. Josh H and Tadpole come together. Tadpole off the road and comes back right in front of Cookie. Both Ferraris having trouble re-entering the circuit once again.
There is, I mean, not that many team games going on at Ferrari, but we just saw the team games going on at Mercedes. They're working together pretty hard. Now you gotta hope that Gecko can maybe get to Reese Dainty, start that team game going on. Maybe Jack with TB. But yeah, Ferrari's gotta get it together.
Roman and AFJ, yeah, they had to come together in qualifying as well. Up 2 for Roman, down 3 for Alex. He's the biggest loser since the start. We have the tires on our screen now, the top 2 on mediums, then some on hards. Interesting stuff going on there. AFJ nudging the back of the Haas, trying to push him along, and finds him time. Big wiggle for the Sauber.
That is not what Alex Fox Johnson really needed for his race right now, as Florian sets the fastest lap 16-1.
Look at this, Johnny. Look at this.
He's going
Florian
for it.
on none, but going for the lead. And at his home race, Florian Van Zelter leads the Grand Prix. Gecko ahead of Ding while that was happening. And also AFJ getting overtaken there. A car off. That's a car off.
Oop.
I think that might have been Cryptic.
Could have definitely been. Yeah, seems like it. He's dropped. Oh no, he's actually gained 1 spot since the start, but man, oh man, Red Bull swap.
Teammate swap. Yeah, Reese pulling over for Gecko, realizing if Gecko wants to get to the top 4, it needs to be, Reese realizing if Gecko wants to get to the top 4, or they want to get to the top 4, it needs to be with Gecko in front. Our first penalty handed out tonight on track limits, it's AFJ. And you gotta wonder, who will be the next? Who will be the last? That's the big thing to watch out for, because there will be a ton of those track limit penalties dished out.
Oh, I know for sure. I was actually fortunate enough when I raced here to only get 3 seconds of penalties. Lucky enough.
Every driver in that race had penalties.
Yeah. But I was.
Meanwhile, TB pulling out, started to cut in, but TB trying to go for 2 and 1. He's past Skither and trying to do Leo Lund the same way as well. Skither moving around in the braking zone, but has to settle for 4th place there for their back. AFJ still with Roman, and now swapping places for 16th. You were saying?
I was saying I was unlucky enough to get that penalty with 2 laps to go. I was catching Valk in that race, and I could have got 5th or 6th, but no, had to settle for 8th.
So, some drivers I want you to watch out for tonight, Johnny, as Red Fire picks up a penalty. Jack, Cookie, those were the 2 drivers without penalties in this race last season. And some of the drivers who keep themselves without track limit penalties, Leo and Reese. I feel like if they can do that tonight, they're going to have a serious chance here at the front of our field. The 3 drivers running in the last 4 places have picked up track limit penalties now. Here's Cookie and Josh H. That's Cookie around.
Oh.
Cookie in trouble again in Imola. AFJ with another penalty, but was that contact battling Josh H?
It definitely looked like it, yeah.
Wow.
That might see the stewards from.
Probably will. 2nd place up for grabs now. TB on the charge. They might go 3 abreast into turn 1. Look at this, trying to split Florian.
Oh!
They do. 3 abreast. TB on the furthest on the inside. Now, contact.
Oh!
He's off. TB and Leo clash wheels there. He is not going to be happy with that. TB, notorious for aggressive racing. Leo the same. And the impatience from both of them ran out there, trying to get the lead. 3 wide splitting Skither. It did not work out in the end.
No, I'm not going to say the words that Leo Lund has been called by Ferrari Academy drivers, because that might get us taken off the air, but they're not happy with the way he drives.
The only problem for Leo that he's had is the impatience. Some of the drivers were not happy with how he raced in Australia, but it happens once again, TB and Leo, them two clashing. Happened in Australia, happens in Imola. Cryptic, our first driver in that top 10, picking up a penalty. That's very surprising from Cryptic, who's been severely consistent recently. Cookie, ahead of Red Fire. Red Fire with a cutback. Look at that, now bashing wheels. Tadpole and Josh H go at it. And luckily, a clean swap between the Ferrari and Alpine this time.
Yeah, rubbing is racing, my friend. Rubbing is racing.
Not between the leaders, though. Here we go. Speaking of leaders, Skither and Leo. Side by side, Skither prevailing ahead by turn 2, and he does take it. So, it's not Florian, it's Skither leading.
I mean, I was predicting at least one of the Mercedes leading. I'm glad it is Skither.
Yeah. While that's happening, DRS train goes all the way back to 11th here from our leaders. I mean, Tadpole kind of flirting in and out of DRS there. Cryptic with the penalty. Lots of things to mention. We're only on lap 6 as well.
Race is going by quick.
Well, that's what happens at the Italian races, whether it's the Italian Grand Prix or the San Marino Grand Prix or the Emilio Romagna Grand Prix. It goes by extremely quick.
Just don't say the entire name of this Grand Prix. We'll be here a long time.
Oh, dearie me. JTK and Polo, they clashed in Austria Tier 2 a few seasons ago. Luckily, them two trade places cleanly this time. Jack Miles with a penalty. Oh, that's Luke Grange. That's going to confuse me. That's going to confuse me. I'm not happy about that. Well, Red Fire is now up to 6 seconds. He joins AFJ on that club. Oh, dearie me. TB and Tadpole trade it for 9th place on our order. Oh, dearie me. I'm dreading that. Just know if it's the Jack Miles on Xbox, that's the real one. Even I'm confused. They love him. League owner. JTK and AFJ swapped. Luke and Red Fire swapped. And look at this. Gecko losing not 1 but 2 places. And Polagod, the driver from Alpine, the winner from yesterday, with a penalty. AFJ went for a dive bomb and goes around. AFJ looping it. That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it was
trouble.
It was a devious send that he tried to do, and yeah, it just didn't work out for him.
Didn't pay off. Didn't pay off there. Gecko, Ding, Cryptic, all 3 drivers, they're having moments coming out of that chicane. These chicanes, there's so many of them, hard to keep up. It's also hard to keep up on how tough the track limits and the traction are coming out of those corners. Florian riding the back of Leo, but wanting to get past his Academy teammates. These 2 good friends off track, but on track, they don't act like it. Florian getting ahead of Leo and teammate Skither. Look at this! To take the lead once again at his home race. Trying to get win number 1. Florian pulling it off beautifully.
Now you just gotta wonder, Ryan. The 2 Mercedes, they're on 2 different compounds. Will one go longer to benefit it, or?
I don't know. Well, that happened, by the way. Blonde and Polo swapped, and so did the 2 Haas drivers as well. AFJ is in the pits. AFJ is in the pits, and he is repairing that front wing. Going to medium compound tires. He will not make it to the end of the race on those tires, but just keep an eye out for him. Down and last.
Definitely could be a candidate for possibly the fastest lap of this race if he wants to go for it.
Needs a safety car desperately as well. We'll keep an eye out if he does get one. Luke Grange and JTK changing places. It's Luke Grange ahead, the former Tier 1 champion and all-time winningest driver. Roman, penalty again. I think that's 9 seconds now for him. No, it's 6. That's 3 drivers with 6. And car off the road. That was JTK having a huge moment there. Unhappy rear. Red Fire goes through.
I know he was talking about the setup kind of being a little iffy for him, but yeah, it just seems like he can't
Look at
get used
this.
to it.
Look at this. I have to cut in. Look at Skither taking the lead. Leo to 2nd. Florian from 1st to 3rd. So the thing that happened to him last lap into turn 2 happens at the opposite way this time by. A lot of positions trading, by the way.
We'd love to see it. You know, nobody wants a boring race. People want all the overtakes that they can get, and we are getting it today.
Absolutely. Gotta love it. The top 10 in DRS pursuit.
Wowzers.
How long will it stay that way now becomes the question.
I hope the whole race. Pretty much.
Well, I don't like these DRS trains too much. I'm sure the drivers don't either, but I mean, it makes for such thrilling action and, you know, a lot to keep up with on our charts. You keep speaking of both Mercedes, Johnny, but I want to keep an eye out for both Red Bulls. If these 2 work together quite well, Gecko and Reese could be on for a major result, and that's Ding going off there and losing DRS of our leaders. Ding with a big moment, and although he didn't get a track limit penalty for it, JTK and Red Fire do while that's happening.
And had a big off, somehow stayed ahead of TB, but he's going to be hunted by him. Look at TB go!
He's going past, breezing by. Here we got a battle for 3rd place on our leaderboard, and on the run to turn 1, Cryptic and Ding snatching places there, and Cookie 10-second.
Oh no.
Speeding. Is his day going to be done from this?
I don't want it to be, but, you know.
No, I don't either. Hard tires, the man who almost threw up last week, feeling nauseated, and this is a performance that's going to feel him nauseated again. AFJ with a penalty again.
I know he said it was the flu, but I was going to make a reference saying it, you know, it could be long COVID that he's feeling. But it's not that, so you can throw that out the window.
Gecko, we just saw that on our screens. Off the road. And with a track limit penalty, you know what that means now, Johnny? 9 of our 19 drivers with track limit pens.
That's absurd.
This is such a scruffy race from some. It's unreal. Well, TB, because of Ding right there, out of DRS, so that now puts the top 6 in this race. And look at this. Although Leo Lund barely had DRS there, he was almost out of it. Gecko behind Reese. And it looks to be Florian maybe forfeiting the place in a turn 1 on Reese. Reese maybe going for a look and couldn't do it. Look at that now. Josh H speeding in the pits as Tadpole joins him in there. Ding and Cryptic swap it around, but at what cost? Tadpole, Josh H both pitting for hards, but Josh H the big loser on that one. Penalty. Luke Range down to 14th, losing out to Red Fire for 13th. These two battled in Bahrain. Wow. Unbelievable the amount of track penalties we're seeing right now on our screen faded. AFJ once again. That surely has to be double digits. No way it isn't. It is.
Yeah, 15 for AFJ. Roman to 9 now.
Reese and Gecko got to be very careful. They almost clashed there. Almost getting too close to the braking zone. You've got to be careful in these DRS trains. You cannot misjudge your braking. I think Imola is an easier place to not misjudge your braking from the DRS trains, but you still got to keep an eye out for it. Big moments from Red Bull sliding, and we have some pitters. Florian in.
Florian.
Undercut. Cookie. Yeah, he already had the 10 seconds, so there's more damage to his race. Reese and Leo race down to turn 1. Reese wins out on the battle with Leo. Florian now dropping out to the top 10 as he pits. And look at this! Gecko trying to go for the same racing room as well, but loses out into the corner. Leo with a slide backs them up. That might lose them DRS. Skither pulling out a 1.6 second gap now.
Wow, that is insane. Now 1.8.
Skither has been away from the top step of the podium for quite a bit of time. Season 10 Mexico, his last win. It's unusual for the champion, but, you know, Johnny, it should be no surprise that when he doesn't show up to these races, he does miss out on the winning opportunity, and Roman is around again.
That's tough luck
Qualifying
there.
Another race. Yeah, Jack Miles, the Alpine or RB,
Yeah,
I don't know
Alpine.
which one, with a penalty.
Alpine.
Yeah. I don't like them right now. I don't like what they did to me.
Next week it'll be all Leo Lunds, probably.
Yeah. Red Fire with a penalty. Last week he was Cameron Emerson. No joke. Gecko. Upper edge on Leo now. Getting the place there. Leo wants to fight it back. He doesn't want to forfeit this place too easily. Polo now with a penalty as well again. I feel like the drivers who have penalties to their names, they're just getting multiple penalties. But guys like Skither, Reese, Leo, Jack, TB, Ding, some of those drivers do not have track limit penalties. They're realizing, look, if I get a penalty, it's only going to be 1 at this point. I'm keeping myself very lucky. And you know what I've got to give a lot of credit to? Probably going to jinx him. Ding. He usually is notorious for the track limit penalties. Staying clean tonight so far.
Indeed, and yeah, all these drivers are pretty much keeping their composure. They're able to stay focused through the entire lap, and hopefully throughout these next 20 laps, they don't even pick up a penalty. They stay pen-free.
I would hope that's the case, but there's some who just make mistakes, barely go off the road, and they're like, how is that a track limit penalty? And TB will be the next one wondering that, yeah. Oh, dearie me.
Reese!
Dainty! In second place has a penalty.
He's being challenged by his teammate Gecko.
Trying to assist each other now. Reese just letting him go, realizing, let's play the long game, teammate. We can do this. These two, I feel like, good old friends of the past, working together quite well here as teammates tonight.
They
Remember,
do
egg on the race band.
very well.
The only pair I think besides them that you could say works better is the Mercedes pair and maybe even the McLaren pair.
Yeah, that could be working pretty well right now. Of course, at the start of the race, they were nowhere near each other. Now they find themselves 5th and 6th. You just got to think, could TB with that track limit penalty try and benefit Jack Miles up there.
Which one? I'm kidding.
The
12 drivers. Yeah, 12 drivers have been handed out track limit penalties, meaning 7 remain without any. And look at this. Gecko is caught up to Skither. Lost ground there. Now changing itself. 1.1 the gap. Momentarily, it was what? 2 seconds? I think Reese letting Gecko go there maybe was the right decision. Realized that my teammate has more pace on hand and we'll let him dish it out. 1.1 the gap. Blonde with a penalty. AFJ with another one. He is up to now 21 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, and you were talking about that gap, Ryan. It was 2.5. Now 9/10. It's gotta be thinking Gecko.
Jack and Ding boxing.
Oh, ho, ho.
DRS, look at this. Game on for our leaders. I know Gecko has the penalty, but he can easily force Skither into an error. And right now, Gecko, a 6-second. Oh my word. You know, I need to stop talking. Drivers get penalties. It happens too much.
It is. It's called the commentator's curse.
It is, and they're going to hate me for it. I know Ardell already does. Jack. Well, not the one we think. The one outside the points. It's LaGrange Jack. 9 seconds of pens now. You know, he used to be a driver, Luke, without a lot of penalties. But since he stopped winning, he's been a driver notorious for picking up tons of penalties on track limits. It's very shocking to see the difference there. He's not lost as much pace as some champions have in the past. You got Mally, a former Tier 1 champion who's down in Tier 3, Beatnik, a former F2 champion down there, former F1 winner. So clearly Luke's not lost the pace, but he's definitely lost the motive for it. He's getting so many track limit penalties compared to what we're used to seeing. Leo's in.
It's a little bit of that mojo that he used to have. And, you know, hopefully he can have a resurgence towards his career, but
Holy crap.
doesn't seem like it. Look at all the penalties coming across. Red Fire and Ding.
I know. Leo, Cryptic, they're both into the pit lane. Here are the drivers with double digits on track limit penalties. Red Fire Tiger. This is also regular penalties too. Jack, Cookie, and AFJ. We might end up with someone disqualified for good measure.
You definitely could.
I don't want to see it, but we very well could. Leo Lund, interestingly enough, has been jumped by Florian Van Zelter. Ding getting ahead of Cryptic, who pitted a lap later. And Jack and Tadpole in the fight as well. AFJ, 27 seconds of penalties. Is he just messing about at this point? It's halfway. He's going to be disqualified before we know it.
And definitely he's pulling an SV.
Yeah, or a Beatnik in Miami. Or Hungary.
Yeah, true.
Some will know what I'm talking about. Well, we have a race on for our lead. Gecko dueling it out with Skither. Gecko is there. You know, if Skither gets forced into a penalty, Reese only has 3 seconds.
True.
Gecko to the lead. Past halfway. I'm interested to see what these two, with the way their races are going, Gecko and Skither, even Reese in that conversation as well. Where will they come out? Because right now, Florian Van Zelter, the net leader, and he had a chance to win for the first time last week in Japan. It didn't happen.
I believe when all of these guys pit, I believe Florian will recycle to the lead. AFJ disqualified.
Good night, AFJ. Game over for him. No surprise there, but a humiliating race in Imola. It's not a DNF. It's a disqualification for AFJ. Very sad day to end his race. A sad way to end his race.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's what you get for messing about.
Whether you mean to or not, yeah. I mean, some drivers are genuinely that bad on track limit penalties here.
Right.
Red Fire pulls over for Florian, and Jack is hounding the back of Leo. Cryptic hounding the back of Ding. And I do want to mention, I said Ding didn't have any track limit penalties. Well, he does now. 3-second penalty. The fact that he went that long is, well, not like him, I guess. Leo Lund! Whoa, he's in the fight for the victory as well! 4 seconds adrift from his teammate, and 5 seconds adrift ahead of the behind the net leader, excuse me. But that's crucial. TB is into the pit lane. He needs a big pit stop now.
Definitely does. All the time
Mediums.
Nicely.
Good strategy call there. I like what they did, going the opposite strategy there. Florian Van Zelter racing it out with Lou Grange, getting the place there. Jack dispatching Leo. Tadpole now able to pounce there as well. He's like, please give me my chance. I'm in the Ferrari this time. Tier 1 podium sitter, you can now say, after Austria last season. Gecko again!
Oh no.
9 seconds to his name. What in the world?
This is just
I'm telling you.
penalty.
Johnny, this guy is a lot, sorry, this guy has a lot of pace, but it's so unfortunate to see this.
It's like going on the Oprah Winfrey show, but instead of these drivers getting a car, they're getting penalties. You get a penalty. You get a penalty.
Yeah, exactly. We have some drivers thinking of boxing. Skidder actually faked out Reese there, unless that was just a driver error. Look at his wiggle that he had out of that corner.
Yeah, definitely didn't help him a
Florian on
lot.
the back of Polo. Yeah, Roman with a penalty, Cryptic with a penalty. And like you're saying, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, and you get a penalty. It's happening all over.
It is.
Polo's in. Polo is in. And it was this race in Tier 2. It was a frustrating day. Luckily, it's just a quiet day from him. But the track limit penalties kind of prove otherwise, honestly, now that I think about it.
Yeah. You're having drivers in the double-digit clubs. We already had one disqualification. We could see another.
And it probably will be Roman if at this point.
I don't want to say that, but yeah, it's trending in that way.
Well, you know, Cookie with another one.
Oh, no.
That's uncharacteristic from him. That's 9 seconds in track limits, 10 already for the speeding penalty. I just wanted to note, although Cookie and Josh have more penalties than Roman and Red Fire, they are at less risk of a disqualification due to the fact that theirs were speeding penalties. And Leo Lund is handed over 7th place by Red Fire. We're going to see a lot of the positions at the end of this race, Johnny, shuffling out because of these penalties. Skidder and Reese head off to the pit lane, and you got to wonder, where will they dish out? Red Fire, 18 seconds now on our board.
Wow.
Okay, Jack and Red Fire side by side, and Red Fire denies him going past. And look at this, Red Fire protecting the inside line. Contact! Red and Jack clashing again. It's not the first time, and Jack gets pinched to the curb. Tadpole now looks to take an opportunity among himself. Jack being pinched still. Red Fire not giving it up. Jack finally through. Tadpole as well.
What a scintillating battle we just
It's still not done. It's still not done. The Ferrari and Red Bull almost clash. That was Tadpole and Reese. Reese exiting the pits. Almost a dangerous re-entry. Skidder now in net P2, trying to chase after Florian, or sorry, net P3. Yeah, technically net P2 actually, because Leo Lund's penalties. Trying to chase after his teammate and Leo.
He definitely has all the time in the world to do it. He's on them fresh medium tires, faster compound. It's just a matter of when.
George mentioning in chat, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I've said it.
I was just going to say, George in chat mentioning people getting track limit penalties because at Imola, and only Imola, you have to have 2 wheels on the track at all times, not just one. A place traded between Skidder and Luke Range, 2 past champions, Jack and Reese also racing as well. 2 F2 and Tier 2 champions there, dueling it out. Yeah, I noticed that, George, but you would think some of these guys like Roman, AFJ, and even Red Fire would understand that. Clearly, some of them are not aware of that and are not trying to go slower to stay in it. They're just trying to go faster, and it's messing them up. Look at Luke Range trying to help Reese with DRS there. He's getting in the way of Jack, but Jack and Reese both breeze by him, and Gecko comes out of the pit lane right in front of Skidder. So we've got a race on our hands for what's probably going to be net P2. But if Gecko and Skidder catch Florian, it's game on for the win. Side by side for 7th place on track. That's Luke Range and Tadpole, but we only have 4 drivers, Johnny, without track limit pens. That's Tadpole, Jack, Skidder, and Florian. Both Mercedes. Could be big points days for them. Drama unfolding.
Definitely could be a 43-44 point day for Mercedes. Tadpole
Oh
penalty.
no! That's the commentator's curse for him. We jinxed him. Blonde as well in that same conversation of penalties being handed out. Tadpole. The 16th different driver with a penalty. And I was just going to say, went on to take 7th place over Luke, but what's it matter now?
No, well, he's still going to have 7th place over Luke at the current moment because Luke has 12 seconds of penalties.
TB sends it. He gets the place. Dainty setting fast laps there. Ooh. Hello.
Dainty.
Hello. Speaking of hello, Cryptic saying hello to Josh H. and slingshotting by him.
Good move there from Cryptic.
Not having Titan on makes me want to use some of his commentary lines. Yellow flag. JTK off. Incident with him, but Polo and Blonde. 2 Tier 2 winners of the past trade places also. Both of them only have 2 Tier 1 podiums. Red Fire and Cryptic swap it around there, and I think Red Fire is going to help his Academy teammates here, because watch this. He is going to be a absolute nightmare for Josh H, and he's going to probably assist Ding getting past. Look at this. Red Fire squeezing. Contact! Oh! He forced Josh off, and that was a very dangerous maneuver from Red Fire. What in the world? I know he's trying to defend, but he put him in the grass. Sting is through. It's dirty tactics. No, not at all. Roman, 10-second, speeding in the pits.
Puts him at 22. I believe AMJ had, what, 30 when he got disqualified?
Yeah, that sounds about right. TB overtaking Tadpole for 7th on the road. He already was probably going to have it on the penalties. Actually, never mind. They're even on penalties. I thought maybe Tadpole had one more. I'm getting dementia. I've got to stop.
That's what Titan does.
Well, we have a... Some think that. I'm not saying it. 4-car scrap. Cookie, what a move! He caught Red Fire napping! Unbelievable! Although he's had a disappointing day, he has something to be proud of now. Red Fire now up to 20+ seconds. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Josh H and Red Fire duking it out again. Josh H going the long round, and he says, part 2. I'll take you on. Thank you very much. Oh, my word. F1 Shorts mentioning, why are there 2 Jack Miles? Well, there's actually 3.
There's 3.
Jack Miles, the Josh H one, getting a track limit penalty. So, just to clarify, for those who are not here at the top of the hour, the Jack Miles that is on Xbox is the real one. The Jack Miles in the V-Carb is Luke. The Jack Miles in Alpine is Josh H. We have penalties being handed out, and a 3-wide race into turn 1. Gecko getting ahead. Skither as well. TB excelling ahead of teammate Jack.
It's all kicking off.
Look, there's a battle. Yeah, Luke Grange, Cryptic. Let's trade places there too. Cookie, Josh H. Whatever. Here's another one.
Roman 25 now.
Red Fire finally pits, and, you know, I usually don't say this about drivers, but Red Fire, what in the world are you doing? I mean, I know you stayed out. I know you want to hope for a safety car. You probably have no chance for points. You would love to get points, actually, but to do what you did to Josh H., that was over the line. That was nasty.
Exactly, and, you know, that could land him a 10-second penalty. On the stewards report.
Maybe more. I think that was too egregious. You know?
Yeah.
What Polish did got him a 10-second. That was moving on a straight. His was just shoving a driver off the road in the corner. And look at this. For our lead, Florian Fenzelter on 12-lap hard tires compared to Skither's 4-lap mediums. Game on for the victory. It's both Mercedes going for it. And you know what? Mercedes really deserve the credit. They're putting both cars in the conversation and doing some unheard of things here. They have not had a victory in RPL since Season 10 Zandvoort. That wasn't even on track. That was due to penalties. It'd be their first on-track win since Season 9 Texas.
Wow. Long wait. Could come back to them, but for now.
I have an interesting thing I want to read in the chat while we have Roman, I believe, getting lapped.
Yep.
Out of Jack Miles, and Jack Miles, I think Jack Miles will finish higher. All right.
Oh.
Thank you for that. Speaking of Jack Miles, it's a race between both Jacks, and Jack make contact. That's actually Josh H and Luke Grange, for those of you not aware. Wheel banging, more wheel banging. Oh, they're not done at it. It's Jack Miles ahead of Jack Miles. I get to say that for the first time today. It's actually Josh H and Luke who are racing it out there. And Leo Lund with a 2nd track limit penalty. The championship leader might be finishing behind his championship rivals. Jack and TB. Cookie with another one. Oh
25.
My word. Roman moving out of the way. But Gecko trying to disrupt the Mercedes party. He will now take the lead. That's our first retirement of the race. Gecko ahead, Leo ahead. Will it stay that way down to turn 2? Yes, it will. Both McLarens race it out, and they just wish they were racing for the victory right now, because they both would have a great chance.
They definitely would. TV sort of trying to help Jack as much as possible, but could be too late.
Speaking of Jack. Josh and Luke.
Oh,
Josh off the road into Luke. They make contact. Josh H is off and around. And that was because of contact with the other Jack Miles of Luke Range.
Sort of.
Well, you were saying?
So it's sort of like that hunted and egg battle in F2 that we're watching between both Jack Miles here.
Maybe. I don't know. Not as bad.
Oh.
Josh H overtaken by his teammate and Blonde. Little scrap here for 16th at the very back. That's Redfire and JTK, but honestly, because Leo got passed by Skither, I think Florian's actually in a better spot now because he's trailing Gecko and the one with DRS. Look what he can do. Breeze by Gecko, he'll choose to do that, pull into the inside, and alongside and through to the lead. Florian Van Zelter leading his home Grand Prix, waiting to win it for the first time, and what a lovely day it would be to get your first win at RPL Tier 1 at your home race.
That would be, boyhood dream come true, as Roman has left the building.
Cookie and Ding racing for 10th still. Gecko still trying to have a go at Florian, but I must say, the battle for 3rd on track not over. Skither wants to battle his teammate for the victory. They know it's between them two right now, unless something else happens.
Indeed, and it definitely can. With 6 laps to go.
I'm going to have you take over on the start of lap 28 for the first sector. TB with another track limit penalty. That's 6 seconds now.
Alrighty.
You're back.
Alright. So Florian, leading by 3/10. Of course, Gecko and Leo with that penalty. So it's pretty much 1-2 net right now for the Mercedes pair. So we're looking to see if there's any battles on the track. Yep, Gecko and Leo gonna pass Florian. As for the race lead, still Florian with the net. Jack Miles ahead of his teammate TB. They swap again. Similar to what Scott Dixon and Takuma Sato did at Indianapolis. Of course, that was on an oval race for the Indy 500. Ding ahead of Cookie now. It's all kicking off with 5 laps to go. Jack Miles, 10 second. Of course, that's Josh.
I know, they want to
He's
confuse
now
us
at
again.
32.
Well, the race is on between both Mercedes. That's for sure. Florian in 3rd. 8 lap. Worse tires than Skither. Reese Dainty, who runs in 5th place with 6 seconds now on the road. I mean, he's going to pass Gecko, but now, I mean, passing Leo, that's not going to happen.
Cookie's at 31.
Cookie up to 31 seconds.
Oh my god.
It's between Leo and Reese for the podium. The last podium place, that is, because of all this. Changing hands at the lead. Leo Lund has it on track, but Florian Van Zelter, who runs 3rd, is going to win this race as things stand.
Yeah, with all the penalties, Leo at 6, Gecko at 9.
And this wouldn't be the first time an Italian driver wins their home race at Imola. Ding did it back in Season 9. He's also won in Monza, but Florian, whether it be F2 or F1 cars back in Tier 2, he's actually never won his home race, whether it be Imola or Italy. JTK had a Redfire. Redfire has a moment. Cookie in the pit lane, serving his 10 seconds, so that's why that place is being contested there. But the top 5, all in this fight. And there are blue flags for the Alpine of Josh H here. Will he disrupt this race for the victory?
He definitely could.
I don't want him to, though.
No.
Oh, boy.
Gecko to 12.
He'll be falling behind Jack Miles now. Florian Van Zelter. Italian Stallion. Looking to win his first race with 3 to go now in this race. But Mercedes looking to win their first race since Season 10 Zandvoort. Can they pull it off? Florian, a podium sitter, a total of 4 times in the past. This would be the best one for the 5th one. TB ahead of Jack. 3 remaining.
Red fire, another penalty. Puts him at 27.
Oh, my word. Oh, Jack Miles, the actual one with his first.
Wow.
So maybe him passing Gecko is out of reach, but yeah, still don't know. Things can definitely happen in the storage room for sure.
Definitely two drivers without penalties, both Mercedes.
I was just going to say, Williams right now will be getting their first podium. Never mind. Reese Dainty currently is on the net podium because Leo Lund now has 9 seconds of pens. If Reese Dainty gets another one, Williams will be on the podium for the first time since Season 7 Zandvoort, 100 races ago.
Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. As we come to 2 laps to go.
A trade in hand for the lead. Gecko breezing past. Now, that's another penalty further back, but Reese passing Skither and eliminating his chances to win the race. It's still not over. Jack and TB trade places for 6th.
Red fire disqualified.
Red fire. Goodbye. He's done. Oh! JTK almost rams the back of his car, being disqualified. Red fire. Good night to him. That's our second one disqualified from the event.
Jack Wiles. That's Luke Queen. Speeding in the pit lane, 10-second penalty.
Oh my word.
Insanity.
Wow. What a thrilling one. What a classic. What a drama-filled event. Leo Lund having to rejoin the road from going off. These two trying to win the race on track while Florian van Zelter looking to take the victory. But interestingly enough, he's not in DRS of our leaders. He's going to be put vulnerable to Reese and Skither. Final lap in Imola. 1 to go. Who's it going to be? Gecko and Leo race it out on track for the victory, but Florian has it on net penalties. Here comes Reese. Reese slipstreaming and trying to get the place. Going ahead. Skither there. Now had a chance to beat his teammate for the victory.
It ain't over yet, folks. Do not turn your TV set.
Or your phone off. Very crucial. Skither trying to break a big drought. Florian wiggles. Big mistake there. Yellow flags further back. That's the Ferrari of Cookie. He's had a nightmare of a day. But nonetheless, the 3 in front of Florian and Skither have more penalties. It's going to be one of these two settled for the victory.
Skither getting ever so antsy behind his teammate. Could go for the overtake. Going into the penultimate corner.
Trying to snap a near 2-season drought. Here we go. Both Mercedes, whatever result it is, they'll be winning for the first time since Season 10 Zandvoort. Leo claims the victory on track. But this race, not the first time, the second time, it's won by one of their own. Florian van Zelter, the Italian Stallion, maiden win for him in Imola. What a day for Florian, finally prevailing through, getting his first F1 win. It's his home race. He does it in front of the Italian fans. What a day for Italy. What a day in Imola. Skither, second, his best result since Season 10. Reese Dainty completes the podium. Leo, 4th. Gecko, 5th. Jack, TB, Tadpole, Cryptic, and Ding round out the points. Florian van Zelter, another first-time winner. You can add it to the list of first-time winners we've had. Back-to-back weeks with first-time winners. And it's the driver at his home race. It's won by one of their own. It's not Ding, it's Florian.
Insanity. What an insane race. That is everything that you wanted out of it. Florian
van Zelter, victorious for the first time in RPL F1. He has been waiting for this moment for so long. Him and Skither, the only two without track limit penalties. Mercedes mastered it. It's their first 1-2 in a very long time. Oh my word. Mercedes. How long has it been since their last 1-2? I should know this. Season 9, Monza. Another Italy race, they do it. Florian Fenzelter with the moves. He definitely pulled off some good ones today, winning the race. In Italy, in Imola, the Italian driver. I'm so happy for this man, Faded. He deserves it.
He
Spraying
definitely
the champagne
does.
now, lifting the trophy. You know, at the start of the F1 23 game cycle, he was just not the driver he should have been. He was racing very dirty, going for way too ambitious moves. He cleaned it up after season 10 of F1, got a chance to race in Zandvoort, loaned out to Aston, got the podium there, and he's proven himself ever since. Well-deserved win. Reece Dainty finally back on the podium, snapping that drought. Well-deserved for him. Skither, first podium of the season finally. Could have been one last week, but from pole to second.
Now,
Mercedes 1-2.
Does that make Florian the youngest ever winner, considering he's 14 years old?
I think we've had younger. TB won in season 6.
Okay.
He's 15 or 16, but still.
Really?
Season 6 was like 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
So, might be TB, might be Skither. But here's your full results, folks. Only 1 DNF, 2 disqualifications. Cookie, Jack, JTK, Polo, Blonde, all drivers finishing outside the points. Leo Lund, 4th for Williams. That podium streak for Williams continues on. It's a Mercedes 1-2 in Italy once again. Not Monza, Imola this time. And just like we said, not Ding, it's Florian.
That is everything that you could hope for the Italian fans that may be watching this stream right now. Absolutely beautiful.
And it has to be said, Mercedes break another drought. All these droughts keep getting broken, and I have to wonder to myself, when does it end? We keep having such drama-filled races in terms of our storylines or even our action. You know, you got to wonder, does this continue on next week in Spain?
It definitely could. I mean, they've been trending in the right direction. Yeah, I definitely think there is a good chance that could happen again.
Oh, we have developing news. Hunted and Blonde will be traded from the VCarb / Red Bull Academy in cars for Leo Lund.
Oh my.
So a lot of storylines into Spain that will be definitely covering here in RPL F1.
Might be one of the most controversial trades I've ever seen. That's like trading LeBron to the Spurs.
I don't know about that. We'll see how it goes next week in Spain. Any final thoughts from our day, Johnny? Who would you give driver of the day to?
I'll give it to Florian.
I agree. I don't think we can say otherwise, really. There's no reason to. I want to give a big shout out to Reece because I know he got that podium in, I think it was USA last season. That might have been his last podium that he had. But some people feel he's washed. Some people feel he's not doing well. Whatever the case is. He got the podium over Leo Lund there and kept him off of it for the 3rd straight week. And Reece Dainty back on the podium. He really got the assist from Gecko there. Both of them worked together well, and it paid off for Reece Dainty to get another podium in Imola. Not my driver of the day for Reece, but still a good standout performance.
Indeed.
And I feel like Skither as well, Johnny. He's finding something here. Because last week in Japan, on the podium until the Searles report, this week, P2, right behind Florian. You just gotta wonder, Skither, is he going to be the next one to break that winless streak? Florian has never won, Egg never won, but before that, Gecko was the one to break that winless drought. Polo technically broke a drought yesterday, although he was a first-time Tier 2 winner. He's won before in RPL. And Florian, he's not won since the start of the F123 game cycle, so he broke a drought as well tonight.
Indeed. Skitter's been very consistent as of late, and definitely trending in the right direction for that win. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. Well, Reese Dainty on the podium in the third place spot. Skidder in second. Florian Fenzelter wins his home race in Imola. That's it, folks, for RPL F1 tonight here around San Marino. Also known as Imola, but, you know, I just want to keep it nostalgic for a bit. Either way, next week we'll be racing around Monza in Tier 3, Canada in Tier 2, Baku in F2, and also we'll be racing at Spain for F1 next week. One more race this weekend, just to clarify, F2 in Hungary. We'll be racing there tomorrow for the action, folks. But next week, for F1 Tier 1, we hope to see you join us in Spain, Catalonia, for the action once more. I'm Ryan Searles, he's Faded Knights, and we're saying goodnight. Have a good one. See you next time.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.